G'day. This is Arnie Lukes at the Crossroads, looking forward, looking backward, the week that was, the week that may be in front of us. I wanted to touch first of all on the home forum. The home forum was discussing this. We had a couple of animated characters which were doing their inaugural run through the website and through our video channel to Betty and Barney to present what they think is their thoughts on our engagement with the natural world. A herb garden, a vertical garden, going out there and harvesting what is just the wonderful relationship between the microbes in the soil and the human being and the microbes in our gut and our interdependence and our interrelatedness. It was a beautiful insight if you actually take the trouble to pursue the book and read it. And to look at it further, Macola does it well with Dr. Klinkart, I think, and they discuss these microbiomes. Christine Jones with the mycorrhizal fungi, and of course the microzemas in the soil. And these microscopic life forms, these fungi, are actually integral to our health and our vitality, and how important it is. Later on in the week, we worked with the midweek forum, the Wednesday forum. We started talking about essentially bureaucratic lawlessness, and that theme has continued on this week. And I want to highlight a couple of reading books for you, which are most important. The New Despotism. This is going back to the 40s, 1950s, and this book here, which is The Passing of Parliament, and by Professor Keaton. And these are two most important historical books because what they do is they show you, they illustrate to you that the bureaucratic lawlessness that is coming upon us is in design, it's inherent in what's there, it's been embedded in legislation. When a minister doesn't or can't actually operate within the boundaries of the law, then there's always a disclaimer at the end that if the minister has a finding or a determination, then that then becomes the new law. And of course, you've got the bureaucracy behind it in order to administer it, and it really is a totalitarian point of view. Certainly not freedom-loving people would be most interested in this tyranny. And then finally, the fourth book for the week, and this is Roderick Tweedy, and the God of the Left Hemisphere. And Roderick does a brilliant job of bringing together the thinkings of great minds such as the modern day Dr. Ian McGilchrist from the Isle of Skye, in the late 1700s, early 1800s, a bloke called William Blake, and other eminent thinking psychologists and theoreticians through the centuries who've actually placed their understanding of the relationship between the left hemisphere and right hemisphere of the brain and how they actually process information. And Dr. McGilchrist, in his book, The Master and His Emissary, beautifully put, explains this process and how the emissary, the left hemisphere is becoming dominant in Western civilization. And so we're actually moving towards totalitarianism. And it's this left hemisphere thinking that is actually causing us to do that. And what we need to do in order to move away from essentially an imminent dictatorship, a dictatorship of the entire world, is for us to actually balance back to the right hemisphere and bring the right hemisphere into our pattern of thinking. And the right hemisphere is to do with the world around us, how we relate to the world, how we engage with the world, we actually see the world, we empathize with other living creatures in the world, our understanding of it, our appreciation and respect towards it. Whereas the left hemisphere is so autocratic and it's essentially about how to manipulate and process and exploit. And so they're two completely different points of view, both necessary, because in order for us to actually master a technique, a machine, any sort of process whatsoever, We need our left hemisphere in order to analyze it, dissect it. But in the end, the right hemisphere has to be the master because it's only the right hemisphere who actually takes into account the overview. And so this method of thinking is most profound. I find it beautiful what he's teaching us, what he's saying, and this brings to mind the um, what really, in a sense, brings to a head what the significant problems are with the world, and most importantly, the purpose of systems. Now, in the Bible, I'll bring it to you, Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. The Sabbath, that was a system of law. It was a system of rules. The purpose of the law or the system of rules is made for the benefit of mankind, not the other way around. The left hemisphere would say, no, the rules are there to control man. Whereas the right hemisphere says, no, it's not. It's actually there to serve man. And it's this Christian perspective of the inherent nature of the desire for freedom within the individual. And that is most important, that this desire for freedom and expression, individual initiative, is all within the right hemisphere thinking. And so we've got to actually do our homework, start to piece these things together because they're most important. Now, I put it to you that, and please don't be offended with the illustration. It's an excellent illustration in my view. The purpose of a gun is to fire. It is to fire. It is actually to cause ignition inside the bullet and to fire the bullet. The purpose of a gun is to fire. The purpose of the existing financial system is to create debt. And we see that in the debt clock. The purpose of the existing financial system is to create debt. Every country in the world is progressively further and further in debt. Now, the policies that we see, we talk about this bureaucratic lawlessness and all these other encroachments on our liberties. This left hemisphere thinking is aligned with the weaponized financial system. And that's what it is, a weaponized financial system. The financial system is, is permeated through all bureaucracies, all totalitarian systems. It's all about controlling people. It's not about setting them free. Now we come back to the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Douglas saw the flaw in the financial system. He saw the design in it to progressively impose debt on the entire world. And that means every individual, every government, every nation, every municipality. And the sad part about it is that the deafening silence we hear from those who should know better, who hold the keys to the kingdom, and they are silent. And okay, we come back to it. What do we do about it? We look at what Douglas had to say. We learn that a financial system can be designed. It can be designed as a gun is to fire. The financial system, the economic system can be designed to balance in a fair and equitable manner the abundance of the world, the relationship that we have with the world. And this is the beautiful illustration that's been painted this week. I know that there are difficult things around us, but the fact is the real world is a world of abundance. But the witch doctors of the day have us mesmerized, and they think it's a world of scarcity, a world that needs to impose tyranny, a world of terror around the corner with climate change or or radical groups or terrorists or whatever it is. They keep us constantly in fear, and yet it's a world of abundance, and we have to change our thinking into the right hemisphere of thinking and look at the real world and engage in the real world. What a beautiful vision. What a beautiful vision. This is Arnie Lukes looking forward, looking back. Thank you.